Good morning. It's Friday and it's really hot and sunny here. I don't know about for my guests, but I'm thrilled to be joined by Emma and Owain. Hey, both.
Hello.
Morning.
Hello. Is it nice and sunny where you are? That's the question.
For me, it's gone cloudy as of today. It's been so hot, but it's actually cold. I've got a jumper on.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Owain?
Edinburgh, well, it looks like the sun's just come out, but I've still got my hoodie on. I've had it on all week. It's been, it's not.
Oh, I see.
Well, nice weekend, and then the week comes and it's just rubbish. So
it was a lovely weekend, and we're expecting a better one this weekend. We've got 30 degrees coming up in London, which I think might mean people at Codegarden next week see me with a nice red face. So let's see. I've heard good reports. Codegarden, the weather should be good. So I think
forecast is looking all right.
I think I'm packing shorts, which is going to be a good thing. Anyway, how have you both been? We've not had you on for a little while.
No, I was thinking I was last on. I was in the Umbraco Spark one, wasn't it?
You were at Spark, yes.
Yeah, sort of the live one.
Yeah.
All good here.
Fantastic. Owain?
Yeah, I think it's probably this time last year when I was talking about the secret stage.
Really?
I think so.
Has this become a tradition inadvertently? Amazing. Well, you know what? Let's just dive into some of the news because there's a fair amount to get through. Good morning, everyone in the chat who's saying hello to us. I will just make sure I know how to do this. You can tell Marcin's away. Yay, there we go. So Codegarden's coming up, of course, and Umbraco have given us a nice rundown of some of the social activities, including a very interesting picture of Steffi doing a limbo under it with a lay on and everything. But I don't know. Hopefully this is something we'll be seeing a bit more of next week. Lots of social activities coming up at Codegarden. There's a bike ride, there's paddle, there is running. Owain, are you running?
Yeah, I'll be there for the 3 days. So.
You're a madman, but well done. The uBuddy program. Have either of you? This happened a few years ago. Did either of you do this when it was a thing before?
I didn't. I think you did, didn't you, Owain?
Yeah, I took part. I think it probably the first time that it happened, and then obviously lockdown happened. But it was really good. So yeah, I've signed up again this year.
Oh, fantastic!
So
Maybe I should as well. Yeah. It's a slightly earlier start on the Wednesday though.
It's just like 8:30.
Yeah. So there is a form you can go to. We'll have the link down below, of course. You can go sign up as a uBuddy, and you can just meet with some new people. It might be a nice way to connect. And of course, the pre-party, the infamous pre-party. This year is Hawaiian themed, I guess, hence the lei and the colourful flowers that Steffi has there. But pre-party, you can still send your drinks pull requests. They probably won't arrive in time, so in the suitcase if you want them. And yeah, should be good. Oh, the dinner party as well. I mean, that's we don't know too much about that, at least not that we can say here. So we will keep quiet on that. But yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
What other exciting stuff's happening? There's a whole bunch of talks and things. Emma, you're going to be there virtually, is that right?
Yeah, this time I'm going to be there virtually. Next year I'm hoping to be there in person, but yeah, I'm going to be there. So I think Wednesday I get to see the keynote and the sessions in one of the rooms.
Yeah, I think a lot of the HQ focus sessions, it might be this this first room, Alfred and Camilla 16 room.
Yeah, the Alfred and Camilla one.
Still a really decent.
Yeah, lots of good sessions still to see. So myself and Ross, our apprentice at Rock Solid Knowledge, we're going to be there virtually, and then Carl is going to be there in person.
Awesome. So still someone from Rock Solid Knowledge.
Yeah.
Representing us.
Yeah, it'd be really good. But I do have the kind of FOMO feeling, so definitely next year.
Let's hope next year. Oh, and any specific talks you're looking forward to on the when? It's Friday morning talks as well, isn't there? Any talks you're looking forward to?
To be honest, I've been looking through it, and every time I think, right, I've got to see those one, and then you look at it a second time, and you go, actually, no, I'll go to that. So I'm just going to play by. You know what it's like? You go to Codegarden with big plans, and then you end up just socializing in the corridors and things. And
exactly.
So I'll play it by ear.
I think I said it on a recent umbraCoffee. I can't remember the last talk I actually attended at Codegarden, which is both a good and a bad thing. Like, it's a conference, you're there to see the talks, and I know the amount of work that goes into them, but at the same time, you just get sidetracked with discussions, and it's kind of what makes the event Okay, good. So fingers crossed. Of course, even if you're attending virtually, there's still the chat and everything, isn't there? On the, I guess it's the same platform as last year.
Yeah, chat and get involved on hashtags and socials. But yeah, it's definitely in person will be. I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's just so it's unique and special as a conference. It's really something to experience, and it's so friendly. I think every year it gets more and more friendly and inclusive. So
yeah, it does. It does. I saw someone this week on Twitter praising the fact that Umbraco's, trying to accommodate for people with different needs as well, and that's really awesome. So yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed for next year, Emma. Now, Emma, I don't know too much about this, so I'm going to ask you. But there's a hackathon on the Friday, and I believe because you're part of the Core Collabs team, you might have some information. You even tweeted some some information, but I don't know what it's all about. Maybe you can tell me.
No, so yeah, you go to the social space at Codegarden and 9:30, and you'll be guided by Seb and Mikhail, and it's basically a really friendly way to get involved with doing pull requests to Umbraco. So some of you might have done it before and just want to join in. So it's like a hackathon, but it's called Bug Fix Bingo, and there will be some fun happening, a gimmick I'm not allowed to talk about. So you can have something happening there.
So it's not just a standard hackathon then. There is
no, it's
fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit different, but it is got that traditional hackathon thing of you're going to go there, you're going to be taught how to join in if you've never done it, so you can have someone to guide you, work out how to do your first contribution, get you set up. You'll be able to sit down and get your laptop out and do that, and then basically you could do it how you want to. So I think this is the important thing. If you prefer just to put your head down, do your own thing on your own bit of code, look up for the up for grabs issues on GitHub, and then you can be shown how to do it, or you could just do your own thing solo. Then you can be helped with the process of actually doing a pull request, which sounds, if you've done it a few times, it might be quite straightforward for you. But if you've never done it, it can feel quite intimidating. And I still remember my first pull request and that feeling of pushing the button to go into Umbraco source code. It's a really exciting feeling, but also quite often you want someone to maybe just stand by you and say, yeah, you're doing this is how to do it, or try doing this way. Or you could buddy up with someone and just have like a pet programming. It might be your U buddy, or it might be someone in the room, and just say, hey, I'm quite interested in working on this issue. Do you want to work on it with me? That kind of thing. So you'll have people there that are the experts. So Seb and Mike, but also a whole room of people with different experience and can get involved. And ideally with the Core Collaborators team, because we do review the pull requests that come in, you'll have people there to actually accept the pull request and potentially even virtually. So I think I should be able to be there, even though I'm not there in person. I'd be there on Slack and ready to pick up what's going on. So yeah.
So someone could come away from Codegarden with their first C-Trib badge on our Umbraco and had their PR raised.
It's such a nice feeling getting that badge. Yeah.
Awesome.
So cool. Yeah, you've got to try to change Umbraco. If there's maybe there's an issue you know of that you really wish would just go into the next version, that could be the one to work on.
I was going to ask if there really is enough issues to work on nowadays, because Umbraco has got so much more stable than, say, even 5 years ago when we were running some bigger hackathons with UK Fest, etc. We'd have 100 people in the room and we'd get 100 bugs fixed in a day. Is there 100 bugs in Umbraco anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's still, if you go to GitHub and do the up for grabs ones, there's still issues there. And we'll make sure we've also got selection for people to look at in advance as well, so we know the ones that we could pick. But
so there's 200 issues open, and let's see if there's some nice up for grabs ones.
Yeah.
I guess there's been a lot of tidying up going on here. I was talking to someone the other day just about how actually it's crazy to see there's only 60 open PRs against the repo now, because there was a lot of stuff being cleaned up.
Yeah, we've been we've been going through the team, the core collabs team. I think it's a bit bigger now, and we're going through some of the old ones. I think I might have commented on some old ones from historically. We've now got a reduced amount that we can talk about in future, and also because now it's .NET Core or .NET, it might be easier for people that have started out the journey in that world that didn't have experience of .NET Framework, perhaps.
Yeah.
Could get involved, even if they didn't know Umbraco. You could understand .NET and get involved in that way. So
over 114 open or up for grabs issues there. Sorry, so there's still plenty people can do, and it looks like they're nice and fairly well documented as well about what version it affects and how you might go about fixing it. So that's a big change from a few years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like it's going really in a good way. So Seb's going to have some things to talk about how the stats are looking, basically.
Exciting. I look forward to it. Yeah, it's I'll try and make it to the hackathon then, and try and not stay out too late on the Thursday night and see if we can.
No, exactly.
See if we can be there for the hackathon. That's awesome, and I think if I understand correctly, it's the first proper hackathon that's happened at Codegarden ever.
Yeah, I don't remember one before. I think the Friday social space was. I remember there being some conversational type things there where you talked about ideas or things you wanted to talk about in a Umbraco world, but not actually a sort of hackathon where you can go and actively join in. So
indeed, that's something I've enjoyed before. The conversations are discussing features and ideas, but not necessarily getting a laptop out. So perhaps this can still be that space, but also with some bugs fixed or some
yeah,
features.
exactly. I mean, and I've found in previous hackathons that people you chat to during it, you then have this really unique social relationship where you're like, oh, we did that bug together, and you remember them for next time. So yeah, it's going to be really good. We'll hand out the issues that are to be fixed in advance, so there'll be lots to pick up, and hopefully lots to solve.
Exciting. I look forward to it. As I say, I'll try and be there. Hopefully you get a load of PRs to merge next Friday, Emma.
Yeah.
Owen, welcome back.
I know. Sorry, my laptop decided to just reboot itself.
It happens, doesn't it? The Superstage. You've been posting quite a bit this week. We've got a nice little group shot of all of the minifigs from last year for Codegarden. Are you bringing them with you? There was some talk.
They are. Yeah. So basically, anybody that sent me a minifig last year that didn't ask for it back, they're actually now going to Codegarden with me this year.
I'm at the back. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, well, here we are. So we've got.
Mini
Emma.
A bit bigger now. I don't think I can carry them.
So they will all travel with me, and I'll try and update the website throughout the day.
So the people can go to the secretstage.vip and see different posts and updates from this side of the
community. Yeah, so pretty much the same as last year, other than so last year I kind of had a wee story going throughout the Codegarden. I had a couple of insider info which helped kind of set the theme of something like the dinner party and things like this. This year it's literally going to be as and when I get a chance to take photos around about the stages, all that kind of thing, pre-party. So yeah, everybody should be there hopefully.
Awesome. Is there a hashtag people should follow on Twitter for this? Is it Secret Stage?
Yes, it's just the Secret Stage.
Awesome.
So, and who I've got a minifig of, who's going to be at Codegarden this year. If they do want their minifig back to take it home, let me know before Sunday, because I need to find the accessories that came with them. But otherwise, yeah, they'll all come with me.
Very cool. Very cool. Look forward to seeing more of that one. Lots of different activities going on then. Lots of different facets to Codegarden. If it's hackathons, if it's social stuff, if it's kind of an alt Codegarden in a miniature world. It's really cool to see. So fingers crossed, Codegarden next week's going to be epic. I'm flying on Monday. Can't wait for that. We'll be doing a annual War Pigs visit just before heading over to Unsa. I'm sure a lot of other people will be too. Fingers crossed for a good weather, etc. I'm sure it'll be very good.
It's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, looking forward to
All right, well, let's jump through some other news as well whilst we're here. Busy week in the Umbraco community. Skrift have had their issue number 95s come out with 2 articles, one from NerdHack about using Hangfire to basically improve performance and availability of your website. Fairly detailed technical article, looks pretty good. I've not had a chance to read it in detail just yet, but well done there, NerdHack. And a very interesting and topical one from Kyle this week about chatbots. And yeah, this is a kind of a comical piece using OpenAI to build a little chatbot. That's a pretty cool topic. Go check those ones out. Some releases with the things don't hold up just as Codegarden's happening. We've had a Umbraco v12 RC3 this week, which had a few other fixes, I think, in it. Just some small improvements, but still nonetheless very good. We're only a few weeks away now from a main v12 release. Emma, do you know the official date? Is it?
I don't know the official date. No.
Oh, it's there, June 29th. So we are. It's 3 weeks yesterday that we'll actually have v12 out in the wild. So
yeah,
the hackathon next week's maybe your last chance to get any bugs or things fixed in 12 that you want in 12 for launch.
I think there's a few minors still planned for 12. But yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And some packages. Limbo IDDQD. So this is like Limbo's version of God mode. It's referenced in here. It's stuff that God mode doesn't have, but they wish it had, or maybe does stuff slightly differently. So Anders Björn and the team have made a very interesting improvement to some of the back office, some extensions, and yeah, this looks pretty cool. So you can do a content app for it, examine indexes, kind of a big list of all your properties. This is fairly similar to what's in God mode, I think. It only came out yesterday or the day before, so it's still fairly new, but quite exciting. I'm sure we'll see this evolve.
Yeah, that looks really cool, actually.
Nikolai's been busy. Nikolai's done a uHeadless update. This one's fixed. V 2.3.1 and 3.3.1 have just fixed an issue with the content picker. And then he's done V4 preview, which I think is for Umbraco 11 and beyond. And it's a really detailed release, this one. Like a few breaking changes, but if you were using it, it's yeah, you'd have to take note of those. If you're not, it's available now for Umbraco 11. So I guess because with 12 we've got the headless APIs coming in the core, so it's an interesting thing to see how much use this package will get beyond 12. But it's, I think, catering for a different use case where you want a bit more granular control over how your headless implementation works. But yeah, it's out there. Nikolai's doing a great job keeping on top of all of these sorts of package updates. So go check those out. There was also some updates this week too. So I've got my list here. uSync to MemberListView to ContentTypeInfo, a couple other little bug fixes as well onto MemberListView. So if you're using those, go make sure you update. And yeah.
Love uSync. Always using uSync.
It's great, isn't it? It's so great. Yeah. We had a need the other day to move some members from 7 all the way to an 11 site whilst retaining their passwords and everything. And we used a sort of a bootlegged version of uSync members that Jonathan Richards in the Bristol community created way back to serialize them to disk, to import them, and then we got them all the way up to 11, and then we were able to export them from an 11 site and import them into our new 11 site, and it worked.
That's like impressive.
A few thousand members in a couple of hours was a really good tool, really excellent tool.
Yeah, I was playing with the migration side of it as well. I was very impressed. It was just smooth and painless, which is what you want. Yeah,
exactly what you want. And I was always surprised again just how much flexibility and control that sort of thing gives you over. I think who was it at Spark that did the talk on sort of restructuring your website in place using uSync Complete. It was either the Crumpled Dog team or the Jibe team, I can't remember. But you can use it to migrate properties over to certain other, like map it to a different property and then say, oh, we're now going to use a different property. Or someone this week was saying about using it as a way of combining stuff into a composition, and it's putting uncomposite properties over to composition properties. Very versatile tool.
Yeah, I would definitely use that again.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, back on the Codegarden topics, I guess. Codegarden recaps. There's 3 Codegarden recap meetups coming up. We've got the Umbraco Melbourne meetup on the 28th of June. We have the first Glasgow in-person meetup in quite a long time, happening on the 4th of July. Owen, will you make it over to that one? I know it's a little bit of a trek, but
I'll try. Basically, we've actually to announce the Edinburgh meetup, which is a week on Tuesday. I just haven't got it onto meetup.com yet.
Right.
But yeah, basically, no surprise, we'll be doing a Codegarden review as well. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to get across to Glasgow because they haven't been in person for quite some time, so it's great to see them back. Indeed,
I'd love to make a trip up to Glasgow at some point as well. It's been far too long. We'll see. And then again, the Dutch Umbraco meetup is hosted at I/O on the 6th of July. Another Codegarden review. So there's clearly going to be a few of those. I'm pretty sure for Umbraco London we're doing a Codegarden review on the following week. I'm sure, yeah, there's going to be a lot of them. Anyway, is what it is.
It's good because even if you couldn't make it, you get a flavour of what happened, and
yeah,
it's really cool.
I've really enjoyed them in the past. For London, we've typically tried to get a first timer to do a first timer's perspective, or equally an old timer's perspective we've had before. Like,
how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah, all good fun.
Yeah. But although we don't really, the dinner is, you can't really explain it.
No. And then there was dwarves, and then there was a man being dangled from the ceiling, and then there was a giraffe with his head cut off. Yeah. All right, a quick product update. I think we've spoken about most of these, to be fair, over at least today, or over the last few weeks, but Umbraco Workflow, a bunch of updates to that. This is new and shiny, and I quite like it. You can now get performance stats for your Umbraco cloud site directly in the portal. So I guess this is surfacing a lot of the data that's in Azure Monitor already and just making that available in a pretty graph, but really helpful when you've got like a slow Umbraco website, diagnosing those issues. Umbraco 11.4 has been out a little while now. UI library, v1.3. I guess we're going to be hearing a lot more about the UI library coming up. And a whole bunch of improvements to the marketplace, and of course Umbraco 12. Roadmap, few interesting things on the roadmap. Pre-installed packages in projects. I think this is for Umbraco Cloud, but I might be wrong. Maybe someone from HQ, if they're watching, can correct me. I think this might be saying, we can ship like Umbraco Forms and Umbraco Workflow pre-installed with cloud sites or whatever, but I'm not sure. Load of improvements to forms coming. The things I'm most interested in are these improvements to the CMS. So webhooks coming into the CMS. There's going to be a webhooks. Webhooks added. They've said here a separate item is going to be added for the webhooks UI. So I think initially webhooks are going to be like a back-end concept. You can register a webhook, a URL in code, and then later they'll have a UI for managing them.
Oh, okay. So later on, you could say, I want to create one, and it would guide you through, which... I guess
it's a tricky one. Is a webhook something that an editor or someone would want to do in the CMS, or is it something you'd set up in code? Or a developer would set up? I'm not sure.
I know Zendesk, in admin mode, you can go in and...
It does feel like an admin type function, so maybe the UI is less important. But, automated miners on cloud, that's going to be super helpful because it's not something that happens currently, but should definitely be possible. And blocks, loads of improvements coming to blocks, which there is an open RFC for. Please go make sure you've read the reusable content global blocks proposal, add your comments. It's been open since last week. I don't know how long it'll be open for, but looks like a nice, exciting proposal. So go check all of that out. Of course, we'll hear a lot more at Codegarden next week. I love this. Andy Butland released this week a technical blog post about some of the architecture behind the marketplace, and he's promised he'll come on umbraCoffee at some point and we'll have a proper geek out about all of this. So don't worry.
Oh, yeah, that would be really interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, cognitive search and Redis and how they're using those in the marketplace, and from a code point of view even. So actually some helpful technical resources here that other people could benefit from too. But yeah, really exciting. We'll get Andy on properly to talk a little bit about that. Penultimate item, structuring a headless CMS content in, I guess, Umbraco 12, and Cornet's just sharing how he's doing that with Hardcore, in fact. But yeah, how to structure your content. Really, really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final thing I had, which is also cool, is from the wider .NET world, and it's about something called CSharp Dev Kit for VS Code. Do either of you use VS Code as your daily driver IDE?
I don't. I'm Visual Studio, so
exactly. Nobody does because it's rubbish. Is the honest answer. Like you go to VS Code and you try and do anything in C#, and you need a plugin called OmniSharp to really do anything with IntelliSense or anything like that. But it's still not very good. They've now got a kind of a full-blown C# development experience for VS Code. It has an understanding of the CSproj file and the structure there, so it's fairly similar to Visual Studio in that regard.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just going to make people's lives way, way better if you're working with Visual Studio Code and C#. So go give this a try. I think it will be a bit of a game changer. I've also not moved away from full fat Visual Studio because of the experience.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what you'll end up missing from Visual Studio. Will it be unit testing, things like that? Or
unit testing is also fully supported as part of this. So they've got expanded test support, Test Explorer in here. What it's doing under the hood is using the same what they call it. So language server protocol host. So they're basically hosting a little server that understands C# and is providing all of the context and information about you can run this is a test. These are the IntelliSense autocompletes. It's using the same host that's powering Visual Studio. So it's now the same core engine, effectively. So we can get better test support and whatnot.
Cool. I will try that.
For them that prefer the VS Code experience, I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, I'll just load up Visual Studio whenever I need to.
Yeah,
I like VS Code for like quick edits. If I'm just literally just jumping into it just to make a quick change and then out I come. But yeah, most times I've got Visual Studio loaded up anyway. So
yeah. At the MVP summit, the Microsoft MVP summit, I actually said to Tim Hewer, who's the kind of product manager on Visual Studio, I said, so I use VS Code for front end, I use Visual Studio for back end, and then the occasional like mobile app stuff I've done with Maui, I've used Visual Studio for Mac. So I'm using all three experiences, and all three are completely different, completely disjointed. Why? So we just do it a bit better.
And now this is this.
Yeah, don't worry. So yeah, we spoke a little bit more about the CSharp Dev Kit before. It's really exciting. Go try it out. Maybe see if it can convince you that VS Code is a platform that you could try writing C#.
Yeah.
And that was the news from this week. A lot of stuff happening, and a lot more that's going to be happening next week. I guess we have 3 umbraCoffee episodes next week, and yeah, hopefully we'll see some exciting announcements, or at least some friendly faces. We can have a nice week.
Definitely.
Can't
believe it's come around so quickly.
I know. And the worst thing is, the year is just slipping away. I was talking to people this week about projects that we're talking about. Oh yeah, end of September, this will happen. End of September. No.
It's in sight.
Anyway. Well, thank you both. I hope I hope the sun comes out for you. I hope it's nice and hot like it is here.
I think we've got a thunder warning, so might have a nice storm.
You're down in the very, very south though, aren't you?
I'm in southwest, yeah, so it's sort of a bit different. But yeah, I like a good old thunderstorm.
Lighting ones are good. Cool. Thank you both.
Thanks so much.
Hopefully we will see everyone watching at Codegarden. But before we do, I've got to remind you to like and subscribe. We are, I think, 5 followers away from 900 followers. It would be so good to start Codegarden with 900 followers. Please. Suggest it to your colleagues, put it in your Slack and your Teams channels, tell them to go subscribe. It will make me very, very happy. And with that, of course, we will hopefully see you at Codegarden next week. But if not, see you at various meetups around. Give some high fives on social media if you're not there in person. And yeah, we will catch you for 3 umbraCoffee episodes next week.
Amazing.
Have a great weekend, and thanks to my guests for joining.
Everyone. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye all.
See you later. Bye.